Hey now, cats, we're back again this week in the Balls from Ellwood show, and Balls is super excited because we have an incredibly huge guest, somebody I've looked forward to. It's a bucket list getting crossed off today. We have the amazing Laura Jane Grace.
Whew, unbelievable.
It's a big get for our show. That's a big victory, I have to tell you. But before we get to that, Xtina and I, oh, by the way, we're Xtina, I'm Balls. We do a weekly show. If you're just tuning in for the first time or the 100th time, we do a little show. What do we do a show about, Xtina? Why don't you tell them real quick?
Well, we talk about horror stuff. We talk about music, punk rock, ska, maybe even a little metal, maybe even a little jazz. Who knows? We like to talk about the current events going on in the world.
And there's plenty.
Oh, yeah. I do a true crime segment called Xtina's Depravity Corner.
What's that about?
Well, it's about crime. Either try to keep it current with what's going on in the world. Today's is going to be amazing. Well, it's actually very sad, but, it's all sad. But, you got to try to, make it somewhat entertaining, I guess. So, yeah, we got an interesting Depravity Corner for you today, and
let's just dive right in. We got a ton of shit to talk about. You heard me mention last week, cats. I super love this show on Shudders called Cursed Films, and they talk about films that allegedly had curses on the set of them being filmed. So far, Shudders been getting it out of the park. The last 2 episodes aired yesterday. And they have to be the most emotionally gut-wrenching and incredible episodes in the whole series. They did the episode about the Crow and Brandon Lee's death during the Crow and the curse attached to the Crow. And they did, to close the series, they did an episode on the Twilight Zone, the movie. As you all know, Vic Morrow and the 2 children actually got decapitated on the set of that, and it got shelved for many, many years because of the fact. And yeah, they talk about that, and they even, believe it or not, there's footage of that accident happen. I almost think they might have played it in its entirety, which was shocking. But it's just it's just a gut wrenching. The last 2 episodes, it's an emotional roller coaster. So I can't wait for season 2, and hopefully the impact of these will help people maybe want to open up and share more about more films in the future. So just wanted to give a shout out to that, because if you're a horror fan, this is must see for sure. So moving right along, we also watched some other stuff. We watched a little film called We Summon the Darkness. I was excited to see. I don't know if I have to give a review. I read it's a fun comic horror romp and all this, and I've read great reviews, and I tell you what, I don't know, man. It might just be me, but I just seen all the good shit in the trailer. I didn't think it was that good.
I kind of enjoyed it. I think it's worth a watch. It's an interesting twist on, I guess, female empowerment, maybe, if you will. If you call female empowerment, being psychos, hey, and that's for you.
It still works, I guess.
Right.
I
think it's worth watching.
I don't think it was bad, but it surely was overhyped to me, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I think it's
See, I would. I'm not going to go out and be like, oh my god, it's not going to go on my Facebook post like, you got to watch this right now. No. But, we're in quarantine, man. And if you're bored and looking for something that's kind of remotely interesting, I
don't think it's a bad film. I think the reason that I so much had an issue with it is it's very, very formulaic, and it's very by the numbers. You could tell. I've seen the same thing kind of so much that I've seen exactly where it's going, and it went exactly where it went. Right. So there was really no element of surprise to me.
True.
It's not a bad film. It's it's shot well.
It's an adequate time waster.
Yeah,
one might say.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably the best review. I don't want to bag on it because it's surely not terrible. I've seen way, way worse. Quilt face, I'm looking at you. But, yeah, it didn't blow my skirt up like it proverbially should. So, I'm glad you liked it better than I did, so it wasn't a total waste. Yeah. But I'll tell you what I did like, cats. We had the opportunity to watch, as you know, I'm a fan of this local dude here. His name is Weird Paul Petroskey. He actually has a film now on Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free, and it's more or less a documentary on Weird Paul. So I mean, you get to see from he was a little kid all the way up till now.
And if you've never heard of this guy, you got to check him out. I mean, this guy has so much heart. And he was one of them dudes that, like, much like Balls and I, you know, we grew up in the 80s and, like, had our VHS tapes and,
went to hills.
You know, recorded ourselves doing stupid stuff, but not to the degree that Weird Paul did. And we definitely wouldn't be able to, like, find our videos at this point. And, you know, he has them all labeled and organized. And, I mean, you can say, hey, Weird Paul, what were you doing on January 5th, 1982? And he's like, let me grab the VHS tape.
Or let me go up in my, you know, my what do you have, like a diary or journal?
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's something. It's always something silly like, I ate a peanut butter sandwich today, guys. You know,
yeah, or I got a Hills catalog. Or
right.
But then he does like these. He does these little videos too, where he does like thrift shop hauls, and they're really funny. And like you see stuff that like you grew up with, you're like, holy shit, I had one of those.
So I mean, basically, he was a YouTuber before YouTube existed.
Yeah, he was like essentially the first YouTube vlogger. So I mean, I love these kind of stories. It's kind of like a Rocky story where like somebody just is so passionate about their art that they just don't give up. And I mean, you see the struggle of, you know, you see the struggle of just that. Like, I mean, you know, there's times you can barely afford to feed your family or keep your bills going, but you have that drive and determination that you want to do what you believe in your heart is going to make you happy. So it's called Will Work for Views. I highly recommend you check it out. Super enjoyed that. That's probably my favorite thing I've got to see this week. And other than that, let's move along. I mean, I don't like to dwell on things a lot, but it can't be ignored. We're obviously still here in how many weeks of the apocalypse?
I think week 3, 4.
You know, week 4 of the apocalypse, and it just seems all I see is madness and the country divided and things are crazy. And then I just see stupid people in the media, and it's just like, you know, everybody. So I mean, I get everybody's antsy. Everybody's so excited to get back out. It's especially harder when the fucking weather's nice and you want to get out and you want to do things. But that being said, you know, I personally, for one, you know, as you know, have a weakened immune system. I don't want to go back out there till I'm 100% sure that it's, you know, somewhat safe. So then you have these big dumb motherfuckers on TV like Dr.Phil, Dr. Oz, even I love Dr. Drew, but even he came out and renounced everything he said. You know, when he first came out, he said that it was a media panic, and now he's totally retracting those words. So but then I had seen something really retarded the other day. Dr. Phil had said we should just open everything back up, and here's why. Because you can't, you know, people die every year from cigarette smoke, they die every year from car accidents, they die every year from what else was it? Oh, pool accidents. I've never personally caught a fucking car accident and went to work and passed it to all my friends, and they caught a car accident, and then you die from the car accident, or vice versa, like all the other examples I gave. Are you fucking retarded? Seriously? Like, I mean, I get the economy's in the shitter. Everybody knows that. It's definitely a worry, but here's the thing. Wasn't it China that reopened everything, and now it's fucking starting all over again?
Yeah, starting all over again.
So it might suck sitting here, and all you little fucking babies are doing, you know, so fucking sad that they have to sit here and do nothing. Like fucking half of the population
this is like our
to
dream.
Begin with.
We were made for this.
But wouldn't you
we're not
see
sitting here doing nothing either. We're enjoying things. We're working. We're grinding here.
I've been busy as fuck, man. Like I haven't stopped since the shit started. Like I thought I'd just be sitting here fucking playing with my dick the whole time. Guess what? It ain't happened. But anywho, wouldn't you want to feel comfortable that like there's a good chance that all this shit's gone?
It's gone.
Or at least to a degree where it's not going to kill the elderly or people with compromised medical problems. And you're not you can know in your heart when you go out, you're not passing it to somebody that could potentially die.
Right.
You know, instead of being a selfish fuck and being like, let's roll the dice, let's go back, let's see how many thousands of people die, and we'll see what happens. Because that's what you're saying. You're being a selfish fuck. So, in my opinion, you know, that's just like saying, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your family.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't give a fuck about your loved ones, your friends. I just need to want to go back to work, and whatever happens, happens. So, I mean, trust me, I'd like to go back to work too. Everybody would. I think 8 million people would love to go to fuck back to work. But, you know, you can't work when you're fucking dead.
Exactly.
That's my point. So it's very tough to work when you're dead.
It's, a little hard, yeah.
I mean, it could be a problem. So that's all I'm saying. Enough dwelling on the fucking coronavirus. Do you have anything to add to this before we move on?
Nah, it's been
beaten to the ground so many fucking times. I just can't believe there's so many stupid motherfuckers that feel this way. So that's driving me nuts. Get off my chest. If you don't agree, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. So moving right along. There's a real interesting thing I come across. I don't know if you guys had known this was coming out. I sort of hadn't. I heard it was coming out a long time ago, but there's actually a single out now, and apparently the album's coming out here within the next few weeks. Everybody always said Danzig sounded like evil Elvis, but now you don't have to wait, cats, because he's putting out a whole cover album of him doing Elvis.
Oh my gosh, I'm so down for this.
So I mean, I heard the first single. It's pretty fucking good.
Really?
I have to say, I'm actually looking forward to the whole album.
Nice.
I thought it would be kind of a novelty thing, but it's actually pretty good, man. I have to say.
Get that from my 81-year-old mother. She loved Elvis, and every time I'd play her the Misfits, she's like, "This guy sounds like Elvis."
I've had people. My mom said that when I used to listen to Misfits, and when I was home, when I was a kid.
Presents for our moms for Mother's Day.
There you go, Mother's Day. Nothing says Mother's Day like Danzig sings Elvis.
Exactly.
And I have to say, I feel good because I was such a shithead about Veronica that now I can give you a favorable review about something that Danzig did. So let's check out Danzig Sings Elvis, cats. Let's sing along. Next up, we had talked about, we have an incredible guest coming up. I just wanted to take a few seconds to tell you, if you haven't, you really need to check out her autobiography, Lord Jane Grace. It is called Tranny. And I have to tell you, it is in fact probably one of the most important and one of the most heartfelt and endearing books I've ever read in my life. It actually, hit me emotionally. I mean, if you don't know the plight of trans people, if you could read this book and still have any sort of hate in your heart, you're soulless. Exactly. If you want to understand somebody that's going through that sort of thing,
that's your book.
That's your book to read.
Highly recommend it. I mean, everybody. I mean, it's different for everybody, and people aren't all acceptable. Even though even when we are kind of like, okay, I accept this, but like, you don't understand the emotion behind what someone's going through when they're going through that, and this explains it beyond belief, and it starts at a very young age for most people, honestly, and this truly gave that reflection, and it was just amazing.
And not only that, a good supplement to that is if you actually get the audiobook as well, because you can hear, inflection and emotion and everything that, she went through when she was recording this. So, I mean, I think it's probably one of the best. I think it should be required reading.
Absolutely.
For people in general. So I just wanted to plug that book. I know it came out a while ago, but since we're having her on the show today, I want to take this opportunity to say you need to check these books and audiobooks out. It is incredible. And not only that, I have another good little book that I came across I wanted to share with you cats. It used to be $50, but now it's $20 if you get it on the internet. If you are a Ghostbusters fan like I am, this is the ultimate visual history. This goes from inception to where it was just talked about and ideas were thrown around to all the art, from Ghostbusters 2 to the very end. So, there's some really cool stuff in here. There's so many little bells and whistles. There's flyer. There isn't one thing in there that if you want to know about Ghostbusters that's not in there. And there's so many cool little things you pull out. There's things that fold out. It's just amazing. So if you're a big nerd like me and you love that kind of thing, super cool coffee table book. Now available for $19.99 on Amazon. It used to be $50. That's why I didn't get it till now. But super sweet book. And it'll give you something to do until 8 months from now, until Ghostbusters Afterlife comes out. So don't get me started. But anywho, we got a couple music reviews to do before we get into. We have another special game this week. I know we did Corona Or last week, which was such a hit that we actually had a request that we reverse it, and now I'm going to be the recipient of Xtina's Corona Or questions. So we have that coming up. We have a brand new Depravity Corner coming up, and then we're going to get to our amazing Lord Jane Grace interview, and that's going to close the show. I even have an extra special little bonus at the end. So don't tune out after the Lord Jane Grace interview, because I actually have a very rare, very live version of Against Me doing Tom Petty Runnin Down A Dream.
So good.
So
good.
hopefully YouTube doesn't flag it. I want you cats to see it. It's fucking incredible. So let's move right along here. There's 3 albums I'd like to talk about this week before we move on. Well, actually, we have the upcoming Aquabats album, which I believe comes out June 20th. And their next single came out, Pajamas On.
Pajamas On.
I think, would you like to tell them a little bit about it? It's very weird.
It's very bizarre that they wrote and recorded this song well before we were in quarantine. And the song is called Pajamas On. And it's basically about sitting around the house in your pajamas and playing on Amazon and not, like, wanting to leave the house.
Yeah.
Irony or what?
Very strange, man.
The Aquabats predicted the future.
Maybe they're related to Nostradamus.
Maybe they are. But it is so cool. It's such a fun little song. And
it returns them back to their ska roots.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can dance around in your pajamas in the house. And we even made a little video to enter a contest to be in the video.
Yeah, cats, there's a contest. Cool. If you go to aquabats.com called the Pajamas On Challenge, you can dance around and make a crazy video. You dancing to their new song for 30 seconds, and you might be featured in an upcoming music video. So if you want, check that out. Other than that, I've been waiting for a long, long time. I mean, I think it's probably been a good 10 years since the last Suicide Machines record. And they came back with a vengeance, man. This fucking record is just a 10 out of a 10. I've listened to the whole thing several times already. I fucking love it. It's super catchy. I didn't have to go on about it. I fucking loved it. What you heard from it,
I
you
heard
enjoyed
like
it.
a little bit here and there, and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, Suicide Machines. I'm like, what? So yeah, it's pretty good.
It's really good. And then wrapping it up, cats. I've always, as you know, we've always been Weasel fans. So I mean, went to the reunion show. We've been fans since we were high school probably. I know. And I tell you what, this new album is really good. It sounds like a lot of it sounds like classic Weasel. So I mean, I know the last couple albums, some of those were kind of hit or miss, but this one is a winner, man. Like if you're looking for
back to the like crunchy punk rock roots, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it sounds like if you played
or what was that album called?
Ooga Booga Booga, was it Ooga Booga? But like, if you're looking for something that sounds like old Weasel, and I know a lot of bands was like, oh, we're making music like our old shit, and it doesn't ever sound like that.
Yeah.
A very good majority of this sounds like that, so I couldn't be more pleased. Xtina's pretty pleased, so if you like Weasel like we do, you're gonna love this record. So it has a cool album cover too. It's like a mock-up of Clockwork Orange. I thought it was pretty cool. Nice. So other than that, let's move right along here. We actually have a game to play, as I mentioned previously. So this week, we were so, it was such a big hit last week, people decided they wanted to see more. So had a suggestion from a fan and a buddy of mine, and we're now going to play Corona Ore again, only the rules are switched. So Xtina's going to ask me, why don't you explain him the game a little bit here?
Okay, I'm going to ask him the questions. He's never heard them. I didn't give him any clues as to what they are, so he's going to be, his reactions are going to be natural, as mine were as well. So basically, it's kind of like the game This or That, if you've ever played that in a group setting. It's kind of like This or That, but it's Corona or. So it's this or coronavirus. So how bad do you not want coronavirus that you would rather have this other option?
Take into mind, too, I got to weigh these very seriously because I could get seriously fucking dead or fucked up because I got a fucked up immune system. So I got to really take that into consideration. All right.
Are we ready?
All right, let's get going here.
All right. We'll start off a little easy for you. So, as some of you may know or may not know, Balls is pretty allergic to cats and animals and dander and things. So, thought this would be a fun one. Would you rather work at Joe Exotic Zoo for 1 month or have coronavirus?
Oh, geez, man. I don't think I would last, to be honest with you. I mean, what people don't seem to realize, and she's seen it, and a lot of my close friends and family seen it, if I get around any of that stuff, my I start morphing into like the Toxic Avenger. Like
It's true.
my eyeball swells out. My inside of my eyeball, my actual eyeball swells like it puffs out over top of my cornea.
The weirdest thing I've ever
My
seen.
lips swell out. I get like I get like my heart could stop. So I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I might have a better chance with the coronavirus because I don't think I would honestly live a month. Like, cause like it gets bad after a day or two.
Yeah.
So like, by the end of a month, my heart would stop. So like, I guess as much as I'd hate the pain, I might have a better chance of coronavirus.
See, you thought this is easy. How many times did I pick coronavirus?
Jeez.
All right, here we
Okay,
go.
this game isn't as easy as I thought.
I know. Another fun fact: Balls hates driving, and he especially hates driving in big cities. So this is a good one. Would you rather drive on an LA freeway or get the coronavirus?
How long do I have to drive on the freeway?
Oh, well, let's give you about an hour. An hour on the freeway in LA or coronavirus.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's hard. Well, I mean, if it's only an hour, I mean, I could probably...
Stir it up.
I guess I could probably suck it up because, like, I mean, I would just be that asshole that's not barely moving. Everyone throws shit at me and flipping me off and telling me to go fuck myself. I can handle that for an hour, I think.
All
So,
right.
yeah, I'm going to pick that because coronavirus, I mean, you're sick for a long, long time. You potentially die. I'm not going to die from people being pissed at me. So,
Well,
I mean,
you could still die driving on the freeway. I mean, they could run you over for real, but you know.
I'm going to take my chances.
You take your chances. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, at least I can maneuver.
True.
I have a little bit of control in that too. With coronavirus, I'm pretty much that coronavirus's bitch until if I recover or if I don't. So,
All right.
are you shocked? Like, is any of these surprising?
Not yet. No. Well, the driving one maybe. Yeah, I you know. But again,
Because I got every single one wrong last week
Right.
that I thought you would say. So.
All right, this is going to be a good one, and this might. Well, I don't know who our fans are per se, but
We have fans?
you know, the three fans we have. But you know, those who know us will understand that this is not our, I guess, wheelhouse. We'll call it. So I thought this would be fun. Would you rather sit front row
All right.
at a Dave Matthews Band concert or have coronavirus? I told you this would be fun. Most people would be like, front row Dave Matthews, yeah!
No.
You're not us. That's like a nightmare to us.
That'd be like it'd be the front row center in hell.
But again, remember my rationale was always, you know, well, it's one day, it's X amount
How
of
long?
hours.
How long is this concert?
Well, you know, like 2 hours.
Is there opening bands, or I just got to see that douche?
I don't know. We'll just give you him.
Oh man. Oh, don't make me pick Dave Matthews.
Oh my. I know. I told you. It's not easy. It's not an easy game.
This is really hard.
I know.
2 hours a day. Oh, 2 hours of. I'll take coronavirus.
Oh wow. All right. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go insane.
All right. This is a good one. You're gonna love this. Okay, this one's for all you Howard fans. Would you, if you were able to have dinner with Howard Stern, just you and Howard, in a private dinner
All right.
for a couple hours, shooting the shit, but the only way you could potentially get this opportunity is to be a survivor of the coronavirus.
I'll take coronavirus.
I thought you would. I knew that.
You hear that, Howard? I would put my life on the line just for dinner with you that you won't want to be there with me at the beginning. So.
All right, here we go. Another one. Okay. Never see the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones in concert again, or coronavirus. Wait, did that come out right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I'll take coronavirus.
Yeah. See? It's shocking, huh? this is another good one. Another fun fact about Balls, as if we didn't know this already.
Yeah, what's up with this, man? I didn't have to give you all these fun facts about Xtina last week. You don't have to, take all the magic out here. I'm a mysterious character.
You are a mysterious character, all right.
I'm an enigma.
Here's what's mysterious about Balls. He does not like fruit of any kind, I don't think. Any fruit? I can't think of any fruit that you actually eat.
No, but I like fruit juice.
Okay, well, he'll drink fruit juice. Okay.
I'll drink any fruit juice. I just don't like the consistency of fruit in my mouth.
Okay. So, would you rather eat strawberries and apples once a day, for once a week, for a whole week, or have coronavirus?
Oh, man, seriously? A week?
A week.
How often?
Every day, once a day.
That's all I get to eat?
Well, no, you can eat whatever else you want, but you got to make sure you get your apple and your strawberry.
I got to eat a whole apple.
A whole apple and a couple strawberries. I made this menu all by myself.
I don't think I like this game anymore. You ain't going to see this next week, trust me. I guess I'm going to have to suffer through the apple and strawberries, I guess.
Okay.
As much as that'll kill me, I'll throw up for sure, but throwing up's better than being deathly ill and maybe potentially dying, so I guess by that rationale, I'd have to suffer through that.
Wow. Okay, see, that shocked me. All right. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. You'll love this. Would you rather have sex with Melissa McCarthy or get the coronavirus?
I think I'll take the coronavirus.
I knew it. I knew that one. I knew it.
I don't think I could do it. My dick won't get hard. Like, seriously, I'll be like, and he'll be like, no. So I couldn't do it. I don't think I could physically perform. I don't know, unless I closed my eyes and thought about someone else, I guess. I mean,
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you can have it over with in like 30 seconds. Do you want to change your mind?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Never eat cottage cheese again. Or get the coronavirus. So you're going to have the coronavirus.
People don't realize how important cottage cheese is to me, so it's pretty important.
Another fun fact.
Another fun fact. You know, we're going to do a whole show of Xtina fun facts.
I don't care.
I guess I'm never going to eat cottage cheese again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not going to risk my life over just one thing. There's millions of things I could eat that I love I could replace.
Okay,
I mean,
wow. Now that shocks me.
I can't potentially die, man. Like, you can't eat nothing when you're fucking dead.
That's
true.
That is true. All right, gotcha there. All right, one more. For all the...
Oh, boy.
Whatever.
I can only imagine how
No,
bad
this one isn't that bad.
Oh, really?
Having 100,000 subscribers to our show or getting coronavirus. That's not how that's supposed to be worded. In other words...
I would have to get coronavirus.
You'd have to get the coronavirus to get 100,000 subscribers to our show.
No.
Okay, good. That's
no, there's no fucking way I would ever do that. No.
Right.
I wouldn't do that for fucking $1 million.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
And potentially, I can't be here to do the show and I'm fucking dead. So,
This is true. Very true. Valid points.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was an easy one.
Yeah, that was a super easy one. There was no thought in that whatsoever.
Well, good. I see where your priorities lie. See, Balls is a man of the people. He just wants to give you the show. He doesn't care about monetizing. Sure, would that be nice? Sure. But we're in it we're here for the right reasons.
All right there, Bachelorette.
Uh-huh.
Oh, actually, you just reminded me. We have humongous news, and we totally forgot to talk all about it.
We do?
We do, actually. Speaking of, now you can see the Balls from Ellwood show every noon, Eastern Standard Time, on YouTube, like you've always did before, but within the next 2 weeks, probably time, you're going to be able to not only hear the Balls from Ellwood show, but if you're a dude, you're a person that likes to, listen to just podcasts and just hear the audio, you're going to be able to now hear our show on every major podcast platform across the board. Right now, off the hook, we're already on Spotify, we're already on Anchor, and within the next 2 weeks, we're going to be on everything else, iTunes, and any other place else you could probably possibly think of getting on a podcast. So that's pretty big news.
It is.
So, like I said, if you want to just hear the audio show, check into Anchor right now, Spotify, and I'll let you know next week how everything else is coming. But within that 2 weeks' time, any podcasting platform, you'll be able to find our show.
All right.
So,
we like to be everywhere.
We do. I mean, you're not going to have to look too far to find Balls after the next few weeks here. Balls will be everywhere.
Woohoo!
But anywho, moving right along, it's now time for everybody's favorite part of the show. You know her. You love her. Let's get to this week's Depravity Corner with Xtina.
Hey.
What is the most fucked up story you've heard this week? Please, please.
This is it.
Bring it home.
For all the wins, or for all the beans, for all the whatevers, for all the stimulus packages. This is it. So, I found that, again, it's a little hard to find some good crime stories because everybody's quarantining, so they're behaving. But those that aren't behaving or using this unprecedented time to their advantage, or at least trying to. We have, ladies and gentlemen, a man out of Jupiter, Florida, who clearly is an alien because he decided that he would murder his estranged wife and use her phone to tell people, her friends and family, that she was in the ICU on a ventilator with coronavirus, and that she wouldn't be, real chatty and talkative because she's very, very sick, and she, would appreciate her privacy at this time. Meanwhile, it was all him because he had already killed her, telling them this. Needless to say, people got a little suspicious, and then I guess a couple days went by, and people were reaching out to her phone, to which he, as the woman, said, well, I'm out of the hospital, but the CDC had to take me to a special undisclosed location to run more tests on me and things of that nature. So the more he texted, the more they realized this just way too bizarre. And I think, the way he worded things, it's funny in this day and age, we now know how people text. And they just knew, there was, too many people were like, this isn't her. I don't think this is her. And so they called the police and they said, can you, do a welfare check on our, sister, brother, or, whatever, mother, or whatever. And so they did, and they went to her place, and there was nobody there. But a couple neighbors came out. And they said, oh, are you here about all that screaming we heard the one night a couple weeks ago? And they're like, please tell me, what are you talking about? So they, about two or three different neighbors said that they heard, a woman screaming and, yelling, oh, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. And, it's a hard situation to deal with because you don't know if someone's having rough sex or maybe she was getting raped, who knows, but and then that's a weird situation too because then you're well, I don't know if I want to get involved. What if someone is getting murdered? Do I get involved? What do I do? But I mean, you should always at least just call the police. You don't have to tell them who you are, so it's not like the murderer's gonna come at you. But if you hear something sort of suspicious, and especially now with everybody being
inside,
yeah, that's extra weird. So take freaking precautions, people, and call 911. So nobody did a damn thing until the police show up 2 weeks later looking for this lady.
2 weeks later.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. What good does that do? Oh, are you finally here to investigate what happened there? Well, yeah. So needless to say, they get a warrant to check her place. And they do find blood stains on the walls. And the suspicion initially is the ex-husband because they are in the process of getting a divorce. So they start looking for him. And they come to find out that he is in New Mexico. Florida? New Mexico. How did that happen? And I think that they said their cell phones pinged because they tried to ping her cell phone somewhere in Texas. So he must have killed her and then drove across the country And if he was trying to get to Mexico, he could have gone through Texas. So I don't really know what his plans were. That much hasn't been...
It seemed very well thought out.
Yeah, it was real well thought out. He's just like, I'm going to kill her and drive away. So nobody really knows. They can't find her body. So, I mean, she could be anywhere. He probably threw her in a truck and, like, buried her somewhere between Florida and New Mexico, which is a good probably 2,000 or more miles. So... for all we know, that's that. Now, here's the shocking factor of this. Well, there's an age difference, I mean, which isn't a big deal. I think she's like 56 and he's like 44. That's not the worst thing in the world, especially when you get older. That's not the craziest thing, but they look like they're like pretty well-to-do, rich, clean people. Look at that.
I'll put the pictures up. Yeah, they look normal.
Okay, but wait, look at the difference. This is his mugshot, okay? You got a good look at that.
All right.
Now, where did the mugshot go? Here's the mugshot.
Good God, where do you see this?
So I'm not sure what exactly... He's having a rough time, man. Clearly, he's having a rough time. He didn't realize,
like, she's the one that takes care of him, and now that she's gone, he looks like, fucking shit.
Quarantine... he needed the barber, for sure.
I would have got the Floby at that point, so...
My goodness, so...
Boy, that joke just dated me for sure.
He's having a rough time. So this is the Anthony family, and I was telling my friend about this story. He is, what is his name? John Anthony. She is Gretchen Anthony, and she is 51. Okay, and he is okay. They're not that. I thought they were a little further off. It says he is 48, but I read other places he was 44. Who knows? Who cares? He's a dick. His name is David Anthony. And a friend of mine pointed out, what's with the Anthonys of Florida? Casey Anthony? Maybe he's her long-lost uncle. Could be. Apparently, maybe it runs in the family.
It's an interesting,
very strange,
concept.
Right. Who knew? But anyway, I mean, obviously it's scummy to kill your wife, ex-wife, or anybody for that matter, but...
I can't see the ex-wife part of that.
In your situation. But this lady looks lovely, and she also has a 12-year-old daughter, who's not his. I mean, they just got married maybe 5 years ago. So, and she's a beautiful little girl, and now she has no freaking mother because this douchebag felt the need to do this. But can you imagine killing me and then telling all my friends and family that I'm in the hospital with coronavirus and I can't be contacted? That's like next level douchebaggery.
Well, I can't imagine killing you ever, period.
Well, so, I appreciate that. That'd be nice.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a leg to fall. Like it's never going to come up again, like... Hey, is she getting better? Like people are just going to forget about it. Be like, oh, I'm never going to talk to her again now. She's in the hospital with coronavirus.
Oh, and I know what happened. Somebody got very curious, and I'm kind of surprised that they were able to give out this information. I swear it was a relative that, went to the hospital and said they wanted to see her or know how she was, and they said, we don't have a patient with that name. Which, I guess they can say that. That's not really...
they're allowed to. Yeah, they're allowed to tell you that
if somebody's there or not there, I guess, right?
But they can't give you any more information.
But then somehow, and maybe the police did this part, but they contacted her insurance company to see if there had been any recent claims made or any hospital stays showing up. Nothing. So that's how they, started piecing together that he was full of shit, and then,
after 2 weeks' time, after it was well too late, they finally decided to do something about it. So.
And I guess I don't know how they exactly know. I guess they know she's dead, but they didn't find the body yet. And that could be anywhere. God, hopefully he'll just let people know so they can have some
closure.
Yeah, that poor kid. But seriously, people, what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong? I don't get it. If you're not happy, walk away. They did walk away. But see, now here's the problem. He couldn't control her anymore because he didn't have her. So now he's like losing his mind. Which, again, is just the most bizarre concept to me. Like, go find someone else to bug. And then when that one leaves you, go move on to that next one. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, just don't kill people. Jesus Christ. So that's that. That is this week's Depravity Corner. Stay safe. Don't kill your husband or wife. I know it's hard. Not you.
Yeah, right.
We have a great relationship.
Well, that being said, cats, just try not to kill anybody.
There you go.
That's all we're trying to say. So up next is the interview you've been waiting for. I know I'm excited. I'm super proud to present it to you. We interview the woman, the myth, the legend, the incredible Laura Jane Grace. Stay tuned. Hey now, cats! We're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood show, and one of my biggest heroes, punk rock hero. I have Laura Jane Grace here. I'm going to ask her 5 questions of Laura Jane Grace. That's the name of this segment. So I'm just going to hit the ground running, and let's ask the first question. I know you are a big Star Wars fan. I am as well, and I just want to ask you, what is your favorite Star Wars film and least favorite Star Wars film, and why?
Okay. My favorite Star Wars film is Rogue One. Oh, wow. That might be a little controversial. And I'm going to just go ahead and say second is Empire Strikes Back. And if I had to pick of the original trilogy, it would be Empire. That would be my favorite. But overall, I think it's Rogue One. I think the tone of Rogue One was perfect. It's like dark. It's like, I love the storyline of like, I don't know. I love all the separate storylines in it, and I love that it's self-contained and that it ends. Everyone dies. And like, there's no questions about what happens or anything. It's just like, this is where we start. This was the story. This is how it fits into the other thing. And boom, everyone's dead. You never have to think about them again. K2SO, I think, is the best droid in the Star Wars universe. Like, They went a little too far with the droid in Solo that's like supposed to be snarky and kind of, you know, like a little biting, where K2SO had the perfect amount of snark, you know, and like the scene like where it's like, you're being rescued. Like that shit is great, you know? And then like the payoff of Darth Vader fucking killing everyone at the end.
That's my favorite part. The last 15 minutes are sick, man. Like
that's what you wanted out of fucking the episode 1, 2, and 3. You know,
they
like
waited all this time, and you finally got that 15 minutes where you're like, I'm like, this is what we've been waiting for. Right. He's in there fucking shit up, doing all kinds of, and then it's over, and then you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, so it was just enough to fulfill you and be like, fuck, you know, like, and it was so perfect in that way. And I just love Jyn Erso. I think like Jyn Erso was great. You know, like all of them. I loved it all around.
Awesome. And what was your least favorite and what?
Fucking Attack of the Clones.
You know what? It's funny you say that because like I've seen every single one, and that's the only one that I've yet to like. I can't bring myself to make it through because it's just so insufferably boring.
Oh God! And the diner scene. What the shit is that? You know, like
I get it on many times. I'm like, I almost feel like I had so much time invested. I have to I have to get through this as a fan. I have to be able to know what I'm talking about to even reference it. But like, I can't do it. I've never been able to finish it. Like, I'll start it and I'm just like,
yeah. It's a dog shit movie. It is too. Like, it's just the worst. And yeah, that I mean, but after that would be episode 3, I think. Like episode 2 least favorite, episode 3 second least favorite.
Well, I can tell you why episode 3.
Oh yeah.
Even if you liked it up to that point, I mean, the Frankenstein ending alone, like, you know. You're absolutely cringeworthy for sure. Well, that was great. Let's move on to question 2. Would you like to take this one?
I'll take this one. So, what is your favorite and least favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is Sleepaway Camp 3.
Yay!
Pamela Springsteen. Is that the one of Pamela Springsteen?
That's why.
Nice.
So good. Yeah. It like I'm spacing on all the great one-liners in it right now. I haven't seen it in a second, but that I love that movie.
I'm actually supposed to interview Felissa Rose from the first one here this week sometime.
Oh, that's awesome.
How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, you know, they with the like transsexual storyline or whatever running through it, Sleepaway Camp, it's like the classic fucking totally transphobic shitty trope, but because it's so cheesy, it's like, I don't know, you gotta like reclaim that and be like, it's so ridiculous.
It's like so fun and ridiculous you can't even really, you know, blame it as a shitty movie. You know, I mean,
no, it's just over the top.
It's got that charm. It's got a charm for some reason that it really should.
Yeah.
Now, what's the worst? What's the absolute worst horror movie you ever seen, and why? Mine personally is a shitty movie called Carnage for the Destroyer, Quilt Face.
Oh Jesus!
And like, if you watch the trailer, you've seen the whole movie. All it is people editing, walking down a road, and he was wearing this really shitty like quilt mask he made out of like a bed sheet or something. And they're just like, quilt face, and then he stabs you. But that's the whole movie. For 90 minutes, like, you see him walking on a road, and then it's quilt face, stab, and it's it. But I mean, that's the whole movie. But if you watch a trailer, you've seen the movie, but that's the shitty movie I've seen. Can you top that?
I don't know about worst. I actually want to add one more favorite one. Another favorite horror movie is Nightbreed. Do you know
I love Nightbreed. I love that. They just brought out a really good collector's edition of that with like all kinds of new features. Oh man, that's a really good one.
The scene where he like peels his head.
Oh yeah.
God, it's so gnarly. And that's like one of the greatest disappointments too, because I remember I probably saw that movie in 1989, maybe 1990 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's about
it. And it's like it sets up for a sequel, and then there was never a sequel. You know,
I just read an article not too long ago about there actually was a projected one, and it kind of it failed. It failed when it came out. I think it was in the theater for a week. And then we couldn't video, and it kind of became a cult thing like many, many years later. Now, I don't know, maybe Netflix, if enough people like rile Netflix up, I'm still waiting for a Killer Clowns from Outer Space sequel. Yeah. And that was, geez, some years ago.
Well, they'll be making Netflix series until we're all dead, so I'm sure we'll get there.
Right.
But what's the word? You have a worst one?
I don't know if I have a worst one. I'm kind of stumped by that one, to be honest. Like, because what is, like, for me, I'm like, does that mean, because if it's terrible, like if it's campy, then it becomes good. Like if it's so bad, like that movie you said was your least favorite, I was like, that kind of sounds a little awesome. I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like, and then I'm a big fan of Creepshow, but then this company kind of like stole the rights for it. It's a long story, and they made Creepshow 3, and that's one of the worst films I ever seen too. And like that, I'll tell you the one story. They find a remote control, and it changes people's ethnicity. And I'm like, what? Like, and they explode. And I'm like,
what's the point of that?
There was none. There's like, I won't even tell you, but it's not worth wasting your time.
Well, I'm gonna pass on the worst though. We'll have to go next.
Well, that's nice. You appreciate. Did you ever see The Room? I mean, people say that's a terrible film. Horror movie, but that's like my favorite worst movie in the world.
Oh yeah.
If you like bad movies, this is the mecca of bad movies. Like
I've heard of it. I saw the like James Franco shit or whatever.
Yeah. You got to see the original. I can't stop watching it. I'm obsessed with it.
It's ridiculous.
But anyway, let me. I don't want to hold you up here. I know you got so many other people to talk to. Can you tell me? Do you feel the punk scene has changed from when you had started until now, and how so? Do you think it's better or do you think it's worse?
Well, I think that it's forgivable for me to miss the old punk scene that I grew up in, and in that way, like it's like a cliche to be like, oh, it's worse. It was better back in the day, even though I feel like it was better back in the day. You know, like I miss the punk scene that I grew up in, and I think that the internet.
We feel it's changed a lot, not for the better. I mean, there used to be like this when we go to shows, people pick you up. There's unity, and now it kind of seems like battle royale, every man for themselves. You know, like we've been to so many shows, and we went to see Screeching Weasel like anniversary show. And everybody just was there to hurt everybody. They weren't even there to see the music, like to see the band or anything. They just wanted to fight, and it was.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm not about that shit. And like I don't know, the thing that I grew up in was like a mixture of like it would be like punks and sharps and like skins and like rude boys, rude girls, and like straight edge kids, and like everyone was kind of commingled in a way that isn't the same anymore. And I miss like zine culture and like people trading records and. The stuff that like the internet just kind of fucking ruined. I miss mail pen pals, like writing letters in the mail, and I miss like punk posts, or like I don't know, just some of those things that are gone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever come out. Kids nowadays are never gonna have that excitement of waiting for music in the mail or a letter from your band or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad. But there's still good stuff. There's some good about it. It's all trade-off, I guess, in the end, really, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who is your biggest idol now, I guess, as an adult, and who was your biggest idol as a child? I know I did.
I guess it's like easier to start with the second half of it. Like as a kid, I mean, I idolized rock stars, you know, like when I was like 8 years old, Guns N' Roses was my band. And I thought Axl Rose was the coolest person in the world. Yeah. And then like when I got to be about 12 years old, I loved the Doors. And I thought Jim Morrison was the coolest person in the world. And then like I got into punk and I loved Crass. And I thought Steve Ignorant must be the coolest person in the world.
Right.
And, you know, I've had many of those like heroes or heroines like over the years, and like, you know, I've been lucky to meet a lot of them. And when you get older, like the people that I respect now, I respect in different ways, in a lot more cliches ways of like seeing your parents and being like, okay, I get it now. I get it, like what it was like for them now to be my age and with me, or like whatever, like, and having more humble heroes in that way, you know, more realistic heroes. Cause I realize like, you know, like I play in a band, I travel out there and I meet these people, I know what it's like, you know, and that doesn't, I don't know, you know, it's just all like, it's all perspectives.
Absolutely.
Who was your biggest idol now?
I don't know. I'm 40 fucking years old. I don't idolize people. I don't have, like, I think everyone's flawed and imperfect, and they probably got their own fucking problems. And if I really got to know them, then I think they were kind of full of shit, just like I'm full of shit, you know?
Yeah,
like
the benefits of old age.
Like, I respect you. I wish you the best. If you make something cool, I'll be like, cool. But I don't have like grandiose visions of anyone of like, wow.
Yeah, and then like, plus once you get to meet a lot of people, you realize, you know, we're all human beings now. You know, we're all in the same boat. We've all been some shit. You know.
Have you ever met somebody though where you're all geeked out like I am now? Like where you can't like bear.
I mean, like, well, talking about it, like I met Steve Ignorant from Crass, you know, like I never met Axl, I met Slash, I met Duff.
Oh my gosh, how was that? I've been Slash, like,
I was just like,
like, could you talk? I'd be like, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Slash.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm gonna wrap this up here because I know you got a lot to do. But the last question I got here for you is, what is the first album and song that moved you emotionally, and what's the worst album and song that you've ever heard?
I guess the first, like, what immediately came to mind with that is the first ballad that moved me. And honestly, it would have to be 18 to Life, Skid Row. That was like one of my first
18 in life.
It's so good.
18 in life
it is
to
to
go. Crime time. 18 in life to go. That's a good one.
I was like, wow, that's fucking heavy. You know, like when I was young. And that was probably the first time I was like, you know, felt emotion in that way. Because the rest of it, like, you know, it was like rock and roll.
Right.
What about like a full album? Because like there's definitely a difference between a song.
Sure. I guess like in that way, Tracy Chapman's first record.
Was that the one with Give Me One Reason on it? Is that the one?
What's that?
Is that the one that has a Give Me One Reason on it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Give me just one. Or no, it's not. That's a later one. It has like Fast Car on it.
I don't even know. I might have.
Check it out. It's acoustic record.
Check it out, for sure.
But beautiful record.
I love her voice.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, now let's get to the worst. What is the worst song you think in history, and what is the worst album that you feel is the worst album in history?
I don't know.
Nothing stands out. As like if you hear a song on the radio, you're like, oh fuck this, I got to turn it off. You know, like,
you know, there's obviously like a whole genre of like there's tons of white power bands out there that are obviously the worst fucking music.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. That shit don't even count as music.
That type of stuff. But other than that, most of the time, it's like I can find value in most things as long as it's not dumb lyrics and it's got good melody. But I think that, you know, like immediately for some reason, the Collective Soul song Shine comes to mind as like, God, if I never had to hear Shine again, I'd be okay with
that. Yes, definitely. I get that.
I get that.
Fuck that whole album.
Okay, well, that would be it then.
Right.
Well, there you have it. We have our 5 questions with the amazing Laura Jane Grace. Thank you.
And
you have a beautiful bathroom, by the way.
Yeah, beautiful bathroom.
I'm trying to like grout here.
Hey, it's
like,
very clean.
It is very clean. Like, it's cleaner than ours.
Well, yeah.
But thank you so much for doing this. Before we go, can you tell us a little bit about the promotion here? How can people donate?
I don't know what the sites are. It's just Feed the ER. They're doing it in Philly and in New York. It's my friend who owns this restaurant, Red Crest. fried chicken, and then he owns a restaurant called Esme in New York, and they're basically just taking this money and getting food and just taking the food for free to all the emergency room workers in Philadelphia and New York City right now. So it's Feed the ER. They have socials and stuff like that.
Actually, I'll find the links. I'll put them up. And can you leave us with a message of hope for this crazy fucking world now?
I just hope everyone stays healthy and stays sane, and that soon enough we're all in a room together and it's hot and it's sweaty and there's a feeling of unity, you know?
Thank you very much. You said it all. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it, and it's a pleasure talking to you. Once the world, the asshole gets back in the world from dropping out, we'll be seeing you at every show you come to. So
you know it.
Big fans. We love you. Thank you so much.
Take care, y'all.
Peace
Thanks,
and love.
Lauren. Take care.
Bye.
Halloween Superstore in October. Yeah, Halloween Superstore. Can we talk about Tom Petty for a second? I've always had a connection to Tom Petty's music since I was a little kid. Yes, yeah. When I was like 7, 8 years old maybe, so when compact disc players first came out, my very first compact disc was a copy of Full Moon Fever. And I played that fucking CD to death. And technically all my first live performances were just me with a tennis racket in front of my bedroom mirror, strumming along and lip syncing to that record. And then when I was like 12 years old, and I graduated from an acoustic guitar to an electric guitar, my dad got me a traveling Wilburys model Gretsch guitar. RJ, wherever you are, if you remember that guitar. And then when I was 18 years old, I moved to Gainesville, Florida, where Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers are from. And then the second this band started making any money, I bought myself a Rickenbacker guitar, because that was what Tom Petty played. I can't really overstate the influence that Tom Petty had on my music and my songwriting. And I think I'd be hard pressed to pick a favorite song, but this might be one of them.